Hi everyone. So right now I am in Munich. Tomorrow there will be a conference, and I'll be doing a workshop. And this workshop is something that I will also present at the DataTalks.Club. So this is the workshop. I can send you the link here in the live chat. So in this workshop, I show how to build your own agentic RAG. So this is something we were talking in our LLM Zoomcamp. I mean, how to build RAG. We didn't really talk about agents. So right now, what I want to do is take this workshop. Tomorrow I present it, but what I also want to do is take this workshop and turn this into a module for our ongoing LLM Zoomcamp. So you will have, because everyone was asking about agents when we were starting our LLM Zoomcamp. So you'll have a module about agents. There will be announcements soon, but for you, just a sneak peek into what is going to happen. So probably, so the module evaluation will start as planned, but then we will have agents, and while we are preparing the model on monitoring. So you'll have some extra stuff about agents. Okay, so that was more like a sideway comment. Right now, I'm going to open our community's GitHub repo, because there I want to find the page for this open source LLM Zoomcamp. So this is the course we're going to talk about today. And let me also put it here. So this is the course we planned to run. So actually the original starting date we plan to do today, but there is a bit of a delay from our partners. And so we partnered with AMD on this course, and AMD they will provide GPUs for us. Right now they have slight problems with that. So once it is settled, we will run the course. So the planned date, we aim to run it somewhere around September. So when everyone is back from vacations, everyone is back to school. So we will run this course. So right now it's more like just a way for us to chat about this course or anything else you want to talk about. So this is, I already see questions. And just to remind you, there is a pinned link here. You can click on that link and you can ask your questions here. So this is what we'll be doing today, mostly talking about this course. It will be a mini course. And maybe while you're asking your questions using this form, I can just give an overview of what is happening in this repo. So right now in this repo, you see two modules, 1 and 2, and rough outline of what exactly we want to cover. So in module 1, we want to cover running and deploying open source LLMs. And in module 2, we want to cover fine-tuning. And it will be open source, which means that we'll take a model from Hugging Face and we will learn how to use this model. In particular, the plan is to use DeepSeek R1 model, how to run this model and how to deploy it, how to serve it using the LLM. Right, so that will be the first module, and second module is taking this model and improving, building on top of module 1 and doing a bit of fine tuning. That's the idea. This is what we want to achieve in this module. So you will learn how to get an open source model and how to use it. So that's the plan. And many of you here probably know about other course, LLM Zoomcamp I was talking about. So this is the link if you don't know. For those who are watching this in recording, I will put all the links in the description. So under the video, you will find all the links too. So because you will not have access to the live chat. So here I have links. But for now, let me just focus on talking or what I wanted to say. So this course last year had a module which we called open source. So in that module, we can still see this here, cohorts 2024 open source. So we had a model about open source where we, instead of using OpenAI or some other provider for AI models, for LLMs, we learned how to run models locally. And for that, we used Saturn Cloud, which we could, which provided GPUs for us. We could use the GPUs from Saturn Cloud to run our models. And we tried different LLMs. In particular, it was Flan T5, V3 Mini, and Mistral 7B. And this is what we covered in that course. And then also we talked a bit about running LLMs locally on a CPU with Ollama. So this is what we did last year, but it somehow turned out to be disconnected from the rest of the courses, because in the rest of the courses we still mostly use just OpenAI or Grok or some other alternatives where we do not need to host models. So the focus of LLM Zoomcamp is more like building applications rather than hosting your own LLM. That's why we decided to split this into two courses. Take this open source part and remove it from the LLM course and make it a different course and add on top like other things. In particular, we'll add fine tuning. So that's how this course appeared. And yeah, as I said, we partnered with, again, Southern Cloud, and this time also AMD. They will provide us with GPUs. We will, again, have access to GPUs in the cloud. So you don't need to have a GPU to actually run this course, to participate in this course. Yeah, and by the way, this content, we will not really build on top of this content. We rather took ideas from this, but we will rebuild the entire all the materials. But if you're interested, you can still go to this 2024 open source module. Let me share the link in case you want to just click on it. And then you can already learn some of the things there, like in particular, how to get a GPU in Southern Cloud and how to run these three models. Right. Okay, so this is just a rough outline. If you click here, you don't really see any materials except this nice, cute little robot. And for this robot, we used new model that is in ChatGPT for generating pictures, because we already have this robot in LLM Zoomcamp. And we ask this model, hey, can you build us a similar picture with the same robot? So it's kind of cool. But apart from this, like the only thing you can see here is the outline. So there are no videos. We will have videos soon. I will record these videos. For now, I am the only instructor for this course. Maybe we'll have other instructors, but for now, I am, let's say, the only confirmed instructor for this course. So yeah, you can see the plan here, outline, and there's nothing else. And yeah, but we can already talk about this course. The original idea was that the content will be ready by today. So today would be the launch date, but things do not always go as planned. So that's why today we just have a conversation about this course and other things too, if you want. Anyways, so I see that we have a bunch of questions already. So I think I gave enough context and overview. So now let's talk about these questions. Will it be a full-fledged course with homework, project certificates, or just a satellite course on the LLM Zoomcamp? So it will be a full-fledged course. We'll have homeworks, we'll have a project or like multiple attempts like we have with other courses. We'll have certificates. It's you can think of it as a satellite course for LLM Zoomcamp. That's why we're thinking this, but we also want to make it standalone. So if you didn't take part in LLM Zoomcamp and you just want to learn about open source models, then you can just take this course. You don't need to. You don't really depend on the LLM Zoomcamp course. So it wouldn't be fair to call it satellite, But still, it's a rather small course. There are only 2 modules, so I would call it maybe mini Zoomcamp, and not like a full-fledged Zoomcamp, because we will have only 2 modules, not 5. We'll see how it evolves with time, because I imagine there could be other things that we can cover eventually. But for now, it's just running this thing, which includes deploying and fine-tuning. Probably with time, we will see other use cases. Yeah, but we can also, like, as we learn new things, we can also do perhaps a workshop, which will eventually become a module in this course. Okay. Would it be acceptable if one uses their own GPU for this course? Yes, totally. So you don't have to use Southern Cloud or any other GPU provider. If you already have your own GPU or multiple GPUs, by all means, you can use them. So you don't need to depend on anything else. Yeah, so you can learn with your own hardware. We will also show that it's, let me see. So we will also talk about hardware, different hardware, like most of you probably know CUDA, and CUDA is the system or the technology from NVIDIA. We will also talk about ROCm, and ROCm is like CUDA, but for AMD. And since this course will be, so we will use the hardware from AMD, we will show how to use that, and in particular these GPUs, which are quite powerful, which AMD will provide. But it does not mean you can not run this content on any other hardware. Yeah, it's totally fine. Maybe your GPU could be a little less powerful than with this one. I actually don't remember how good this one is. I think it's quite good. Yeah, everything is in German. Cool. But yeah, well, it's a good one, right? Yeah, you can believe me. So yeah, GPU specifications. Yeah, you can see that if this tells you anything, so the important thing is memory. So yeah, it's quite a good one. So we'll have access to these things. Yeah, but with your own GPU, maybe you will not be able to run some of the models, but usually these models, they have multiple, let's say, versions. And yeah, usually you can just run a smaller version. It's getting super cold in my room. I need to turn off the AC or I'll get a cold. Just 1 second, I'll be right back. Here in Germany, it's pretty hot outside. So having an AC is cool, but until it's too cool, and then it becomes cold, and I don't like cold. So I turn it off. Sorry. Okay. Do you have any resource to computer vision Zoomcamp? I guess the question asks if we can do a computer vision Zoomcamp. Very unlikely. I do not have any experience in computer vision except very basic things, which is image classification. So in computer vision, you have many different tasks. So classification is the simplest one, but also is segmentation, I think it's called. Or like basically when you don't just need to say that this is an image of a dog, but you need to also say where the dog is. And you can say like classify each pixel of the dog or just have a bounding box. So these things are pretty advanced for me. So I don't really have experience with training models like that. I think I used an off-the-shelf models at some point, but yeah, so I don't really have experience. That said, for our ML Zoom camp, we have some content on the image classification, and I did have some experience with image classification. So here, deep learning module if you're interested. Here I talk about but yeah, it's by no means a computer vision Zoomcamp. It's more like introduction to deep learning with images, which is fairly old. I think it's going to turn 5 soon, so it's a little anniversary. Like I don't know how do you call it? Not an Yeah, I guess anniversary, like 5th year anniversary. Um, so the content is a little old. With ML Zoom Camp, I don't actually plan to. No, actually, I will re-record some of the modules, in particular um, Kubernetes and serverless. We will remove Kserve, but deep learning will stay the same. So most of this content is still not outdated, and I will re-record this too. But it will be in September. Okay. Do you have an exact start date? So I plan to. This is something I need to agree with AMD again, depending on when we get the hardware. But I think it will be somewhere maybe end of August or beginning of September. So this is when everyone is coming back from summer vacations, when everyone is back to work. So this is probably will be a perfect time to start a course, to start a new course. Otherwise, if we start earlier, some people will be on vacation. I will probably also be on vacation, so I'll try my best to start preparing the materials as soon as possible. So then by September we have everything ready. But no start date. You should keep an eye on our Telegram channel for announcements, and it is here. So this is how you can find it. When you go to our repo, you scroll down and you will see Telegram announcements channel. So make sure to subscribe to that channel. And of course, if you're subscribed to our newsletter, you will also see announcements there. Citron Cloud seems to give 5 free hours of computing. Will it be a particular agreement to have more free time? I will see. We will see how exactly it will look like. So it depends, because there are many, let's say, parties involved. So there is Saturn Cloud, there is AMD, there is another company that is actually hosting the GPUs, and Saturn Cloud is providing access to these GPUs. So it's a little complicated. You don't need to know all the details, but we are working things out right now. So you'll find out more about that. I think 5 hours should be enough, maybe a little more. So if we talk about the course, 5 hours should be enough. If you want to do something else, yeah, probably there is a way to buy extra credits. I don't know. But we'll see how much time we actually get. It will be interesting to discover all the tools and features included in the Hugging Face ecosystem during the course. Hub, spaces. Yeah, well, the only about Hugging Spaces that I know is I know how to pull a model from there using this transformers library. So we'll definitely cover that. I don't know anything else about Hugging Face ecosystem. So if you have any particular ideas what you want to cover, let us know. Either you can, I don't know, go to Slack and write it there, for example. And then I can find somebody from Hugging Face who can come and give us an intro. So that's one of the options. Or maybe somebody from the community who already knows these things can also give a workshop about that. So it's definitely possible. Just let us know what exactly you want to know about Hugging Face. Because for me, like app spaces, I don't know much about that. Like what exactly. So just let us know what exactly you want to learn, and we will see. And we'll try to find the person who can explain that. Is it a short course in respect to the usual duration of Zoom camps? Yes, it is a short course. So we plan for each model, we plan to you have 2 weeks. So module 1, 2 weeks, module 2, 2 weeks, and then the usual duration for the project, which is 2 weeks for the project and 1 week for peer review. So in total, it will be 7 weeks, which is like 2 months, right? Which is way less than our usual Zoom camps, right? That's why it's a mini Zoom camp and it's just 2 modules. So yeah, it is a rather short course. Need more updated content. Things are changing at fast pace in LLM, VLLMs. Current syllabus seems like an. So can you please be more specific? Because we haven't really recorded anything yet. So the outline you see is not set in stone. If you think there is something more updated, let's say, let us know. To me, it looks pretty updated, but like, say, where is it? So to me, it looks pretty outdated. So we cover like one of the most recent models, and then also we talk about VLLMs, VLLM. So I don't know. Just let us know what exactly you have in mind. And if we think that this is definitely a good thing to cover, we will. We can include it. Another thing is we need to be mindful about, yeah, as you said, things are changing very fast, very quickly, and things come and go. Like in AI right now, new tools appear every day. People talk about them, and next week nobody remembers about these tools. So we need to be careful and try to cover things that are more fundamental, let's say, things that will stay with us at least for some time. So we don't need to re-record the content every year, right? So next year when we relaunch the course, we want to make minimal adjustments. So things that we cover now will stay relevant in a year, right? So this is the aim. This is what we do with all other Zoom camps. With LLM Zoomcamp, it's tricky, right? So we needed to actually update some of the materials, but yeah, we were trying our best. So yeah, just let us know what you want to cover, and this is something we will consider. And if this is something that we think is good and not a thing that will go away in a week, then this is definitely something we can include. How many modules? 2. How can I start learning LLM Zoomcamp as I have already filled form but didn't get any confirmation? So the reason you didn't get a confirmation could be if you unsubscribed from our DataTalks newsletter, then you might not get any confirmation because you're unsubscribed. But you don't need any confirmation. You don't need a confirmation to start the course. You just join our Slack. You just join the course channel. If you need to ask questions, and you just follow the content along. So there is a course repo, you just follow it along. For this one, so right now, this form that you fill in is not connected to MailChimp, to our newsletter provider. That's why when you fill this one in, you will not get any confirmation. But all the emails are saved. And when we actually launch something, you will definitely have an email with reminder, right? So yeah, if you are talking about this one and you didn't receive any email, it's expected. For this one, for LLM Zoomcamp, the reason you might not get any email is because you're unsubscribed. You have unsubscribed from our newsletter. But again, you don't need that. Like, it's just for you to get notifications. But if you, let's say, subscribe to our Telegram channel, if you're in Slack, you will not miss anything. Do we need to have deep learning knowledge for fine-tuning a model? Just a little bit. So not a lot. Just some concepts are enough. In particular, like how? Let me try to think how to formulate. The exact prerequisites you will know later when I actually have the materials, but I don't expect you to have any in-depth deep learning knowledge. Some ideas like what is the learning rate and things like that will be useful. If you don't know these things, I recommend checking this course that I mentioned already, Machine Learning Zoomcamp, Deep Learning module. There we talk about things like transfer learning, which is kind of fine tuning with transfer learning, but for other models, right? So if you uh, have, if you know things from here, it should be sufficient to take this course. We're going to fine tune big models. So how large is this one? It's not a large model. Oh, let's check Hugging Face. So where do we see the weights? Anyways, it's not like a super large model. Actually, it is. Yeah, perhaps we'll use one of those, which is smaller, because this one is too large, right? So if we just take one of these ones, it will fit, how to say, a standard GPU of the ones you have on Colab, for example. Should still be possible. But yeah, we will see exactly how it will look like. And of course, since there are many different models here, so we can, oh, where they are, we can choose whichever fits our GPU. So if, let's say, you don't have an access to big GPU, then you just get like this small one and you fine tune it instead of fine tuning, let's say, this one. What book should I use to study and master the skills required for an entry-level graduate roles? I have completed graduate level NLP course. You didn't specify what kind of entry-level graduate roles, what exactly in which, what kind of roles? Is it data science roles? Is it ML roles, ML engineering roles? The answer really depends on the kind of roles. That you completed graduate level NLP course, it's cool, good for you. But yeah, you need to be more specific what you want to do. And depending on that, the skills will be different. For usual, but I think for most cases, you don't really need books, in my opinion. What you need is portfolio projects, like no matter what role you aim at. The most important thing is to show that you can get things done. Books are good, but the most important thing is actually solving the problems. And you can show that you can solve the problems by doing by creating some portfolio projects. So you can think, so let's say there is a company where you want to work and there is a position you like. You can try to think what kind of things, what kind of problems people at this position, at this company solve. And you can try to come up with a similar problem, a lot smaller, of course. Try to find a data set for this problem and solve this. And then you have a portfolio project, and then you can already show, okay, when you talk to this company, you say, yeah, I'm really interested in working at your company. I did some research. I found out that these are the problems you are solving. So I came up with this project. And then you spend the rest of the interview talking about this project. And yeah, I'm sure people will be quite interested in talking to you. Whether it will be enough to get hired, you will see, because they might start asking questions that you might not necessarily have answers to. But this is a process. So you'll see, okay, they want me to know these things. How can I learn these things? And then you learn these things. So what I'm trying to suggest is you do some explorative learning instead of asking which books should I use. you build projects and you see which skills you lack to build these projects. And then you learn the skills and you build more projects and eventually you get hired. And so this works for any role you want. When we say we fine-tune model, does it mean we will download the model with weights on our machine and we'll have the ability to change the weights? Yes, this is exactly what it means. So typically you don't change the weights of the entire model, you change some of the last ones. But the idea is that the models that you have, they are general purpose, but you want to make them more aware, let's say, of a particular domain. That could be legal domain, could be medicine, like, I don't know, health care domain, could be something else. So you want the model to specialize on this domain. And that's why you fine tune. And for that, you have some text from the domain you're interested in. And you show this text to the model. So the model is learning from this. And this is how you fine tune it. I'm targeting data science entry roles and associate level data ML engineer role. So that's the same on card. That's the same person who asked the question before. So you're targeting 3 positions: data scientist, data engineer, and ML engineer, right? It's kind of too many. I would suggest to focus on one because the skills you need for a data scientist role are very different from the skill set of a data engineer and also different from ML engineer. So while data scientists and ML engineers have some overlap, data engineers have less overlap. So first thing I would suggest is to focus on one of these 3, decide which one you like. And for that, if you don't know, again, just projects, try to build a project for each of these roles and see what you like more. So the course we have, our courses will help, of course. So this ML Zoomcamp is more, I would say, ML engineering kind of course. So if you like ML engineering, you can, for example, build a project for this course. And there's something new we recently introduced. So if you go to our course platform and go, let's say, Machine Learning Zoomcamp 2024, there's this new button called See All Submitted Projects. So you don't need to go to each project and then see the projects there. You can just see all the projects for the course. And for example, we can see the project that Vladimir submitted, and then you can see what exactly he did. So this could be quite useful. So let me share it with you. So this way you can see, okay, like if I'm interested in ML engineering, this is the kind of things I can try. And then you, let's say, go to the ML engineering course. If you're interested in, so I have so many tabs open. Let me close this once. If you're interested in data engineering, then we have another course, which is the data engineering course. So then you can also see projects here. So for example, a project from Medi, we can see that what Medi created, right? And then, so here the tools and the problem you work on, they are so different from ML engineering, even though both have both have engineering part. Data and ML, they are quite different. So the things you need to do, they are quite different. So then you can try to build a project from each of these things. And for data scientists, the focus would be less on deployment, more on modeling, I think. So, yeah, so there is more overlap between ML engineer and data scientist. So you try to build 3 projects, and then you see what you like more, and then you can specialize there. Instead of Llama Factory, I have seen many use Unsloth. Maybe you can check it out. Okay, I will take a note. Unsloth instead of Llama Factory. Yeah, thank you. Can I get the certificate if I start the LLM Zoomcamp now, as it is late start? So one of the applications of of AI of LLMs we learn in the course is RAG, right? So the course is basically about RAG. And one of the examples we have there is this particular question. So how about you do module one, you build the RAG, and then you ask this question to the RAG. And let's see what kind of, first of all, what kind of results the search engine returns. And when you build the prompt and then you send this prompt to the LLM, what kind of answer the LLM gives. So perhaps you will get an answer. I'm pretty sure you will, because this is something we actually cover in the course. So this is the example we use in the course. So I am pretty sure you'll find your answer there. Okay, sorry, the answer is yes, but you can also do everything I mentioned. Can we build some AI open source tools like Agent ID that uses open source models, or even our own fine-tuned? Yes, yes, technically, yes, you can. From what I see is hosted models like Claude and OpenAI models, they work much better than open source self-hosted models. So while you can technically do that, it will perform less. It will be less powerful. But also at the beginning, I showed you a workshop. Where is it? So this workshop, right? Yeah, to go to this website. So here I show how to build an agent with OpenAI. Then you can replace it with any other modern model, and then it should work similarly, maybe slightly worse. I don't know. And then the examples from here should work. Yeah. Even though here I don't really, the example is not open source like Agent IDE, but you can adapt these examples. So here in this workshop, I talk about function calling, and you can build an agent that can list the files that are available, that can index files, the source code, that it can index it, that can grab the code base, that can create a new file, that can update a file. Like you give this agent these tools, and then you can just use this agent. So then you can give it a prompt, like I want to implement this and this and that, and then it should be able to actually do that. Most of the time you will spend probably debugging your prompt, I assume. So you'll need to put some effort into that. But also I think we recently had a nice demo at our YouTube channel. Let me see. No, it will be released soon. So there, it was a demo that we got recently in Open Source Spotlight. And in this demo, the presenter shows how to rebuild Lovable from scratch using Pydantic AI. So it was a really cool thing. So you keep an eye on our YouTube channel. I think it should probably be released this week, I hope. Where is my cursor? Okay, sorry. My mouse is acting up. And I thought I was afraid that my computer got broken. I will include in Lchain, LangGraph, LangSmith, and MCP. Not in this course, not in other courses too. Lchain a little bit in LLM Zoomcamp. If you go to LLM Zoomcamp, there is the best practices model. And you can see that we have Lchain there. So Lchain makes some things simpler, but actually I suggest that when it comes to Lchain, you try to implement things yourself. It's not that difficult as it seems, because Lchain hides many things from, and if something doesn't work, then you'll spend a lot of time debugging and actually to do some of the things you need. So you can just implement things from scratch, and when things get broken, then you just fix them. So the two libraries, I don't know, Langsmith, I think it's a monitoring tool, right? So for monitoring, I might be mistaken, let me check. So for monitoring in the LLM course, we'll use a different tool, which is Phoenix. Yeah, it's observability, so we will use a different tool for that, which is Phoenix AI. Yeah, this one, Phoenix. So we'll use this one. I think they should be pretty similar. And MCP, no, not right now. So this workshop that I talked about, I'm presenting tomorrow. I will also present it at the DataTalks.Club after the conference. And then at some point, we'll make another workshop with MCP. So this will be covered, not necessarily as a part of the course. I mean, when it comes to MCP. Also, these things evolve. So we will see. It's very likely that next year in LLM Zoomcamp, we will include both agents and MCP, but we will see. And we build custom framework using LLM. I think the answer is yes, but also it depends on what you mean. I don't have computer science background. Will you please share books, resources, which will you cover structured way to build apps with LLM? Though we focus on RAG, it will give you enough, how to say, background to actually build something that is not RAG. So yeah, so some of the ideas, they are really transferable to a variety of different AI applications. I'm a Rust developer, having blockchain experience. Can I ask it for LLM Zoomcamp instead of? You can ask, but we will of course not implement it in Rust. I don't know Rust. You probably translate Python to Rust easily. But yeah, you can use whatever you want. So actually, there are no, when it comes to projects, we don't usually restrict to a particular choice of technology. I don't think it ever happened that somebody used a different programming language that is not Python to implement it. So I would still suggest you to learn Python. It's after Rust. Python should be super easy. Maybe for you it just feels too slow. I don't know. But yeah, you can use whatever you want. For the projects, for the sake of your fellow classmates, fellow students, other students, they might not know Rust, and for them it might be difficult to actually install prepare the environment to run Rust. So that's why I would still recommend using Python. It will be way better for everyone if you use Python for your projects. Okay. Oh, more questions. Which stream and data site would land a balanced life job work without crazy expectations? Interesting question. So I don't think I have an answer for that. I think it usually works. It usually depends on the company, not on the kind of work you do. I mean, yes, this might also depend if you're, I don't know, let's say you work at Big Four and it's consulting. Usually people work crazy hours there, right? So that's why for consulting, you don't really have a super well balanced work, right? But let's say if you work at a usual German company, then you pretty almost all cases you have a very good life work balance, like you have your continue to work. So I would say it depends on the company. Um, I might be wrong what I heard in Asia, in many countries, like for example in China or South Korea, people tend to work more. And if you compare it to Europe, for example, France, in France, people tend to work less. And then also it depends on the type of the company. So Big Four in France will still do crazy hours, while I know usual data scientists, they will just have 35, I think. In France, yeah, the standard week is 35 hours. So yeah, like depends on the company. And since I live in Europe, usually, like at least my experience with all the companies where I worked, it was pretty chill. So it wasn't like crazy hours and crazy expectations. But I was a data scientist. I worked as a data scientist. Okay. So do we have more questions? Actually, and to be honest, I'm a bit tired of talking. Okay, I see a question. Will AI replace the 9 out of 10 programmers in every company? Like, I think there was a company who said, okay, like we're letting people go with AI agents, and then half a year later, they said, okay, yeah, it was actually a mistake, and they are hiring people again. Yeah, well, AI replacing developers, because also there is no content yet, but we'll start with recording some workshops, and then we'll turn these workshops into a proper course. So this one, AI DevTools Zoomcamp. Let me share the link with you. Yeah. So is my connection bad? Okay, I'm sorry about that. Could be because I'm in a hotel right now, so could be bad. So I'm not at my usual place. Anyways, so here in this course, we show how to use all these modern dev tools like Cursor that I just launched here. And I really love Cursor. It's so amazing. So for example, right now, the way I use it, um, I just ask it to do something, then I check, and then I see, okay, this code makes sense, this doesn't. I apply the changes, then I run tests. And for all these things, you still need a developer. If you just let it run loose without any control, I don't think it can produce any working code. So I don't think it will actually replace people. But people who use these tools, they will become way more productive. So I think the best recipe for here, let's say, not being replaced by AI is just investing some time into learning these tools and then becoming more productive. And then I don't think AI will replace you. But if you don't learn these tools, if you don't use ChatGPT, again, I don't know if you will be replaced. Probably no, but I think you're missing out because I personally became so much more productive with ChatGPT, with Cursor, with things like that. So I really recommend you to check this out. And right now, so this is the code for our course management platform. So this thing. What is happening with my computer? So this is the platform we use for courses. Lately, I've been using Coursera a lot to do things here, and it was so useful. So I just tell it what to do, then it finds the right files, then it edits them, then it creates some tests, then I look at the tests and at the changes if they make sense. If they do, then I just apply the changes. I run tests, I commit. So I save a lot of time doing that. Okay, I think we should be wrapping up. So yeah, thank you for the session. You're very welcome. And I am really excited also for the Open Source LLM Zoomcamp. Again, apologies that we couldn't. So my plan was to run it to start the course today. Things didn't go the way I planned, but it's okay. We will take a little more time preparing the content, and just keep an eye on the announcements. Keep an eye on our So here you have the things you need to keep an eye on, in particular Telegram. So this is if you subscribe to the channel, you definitely will see an announcement. When you sign up, eventually you will also get an email if you're not if you have not unsubscribed from our DataTalks.Club newsletter. And also, if you're subscribed to our newsletter, you will also get so we send this weekly digests or weekly summaries, weekly newsletters with everything that is happening in the community. You will definitely see an announcement there. Okay, so this is how you keep an eye on that. And with that, I think I will finish. So thanks a lot for joining me today. Apologies for the video quality. Apologies for the connection quality. Also, I imagine that maybe it's not always great. So thanks. Was nice chatting with you today. And see you soon. And in the meantime, if you're doing any other courses that we have right now, we're running MLOps, LLM, and stock market analytics. If you're